And welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101. I'm Scott Trella. We'll talk Browns and NFL football. We'll talk Cavs and NBA basketball and Tribe and Major League Baseball. And we'll talk March Madness if we have time and other sports. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. Who was the first player ever drafted by the Carolina Panthers? I'll have the answer later in the broadcast. Tight end and fullback Orson Charles has re-signed with the Browns. The team announced this morning. Terms of the deal were not announced. Charles saw action in 13 games with Cleveland last season, starting 2. He had 3 catches for 23 yards. Charles was drafted out of Georgia and was taken in the 4th round of the draft by the Bengals. He played in 29 games with Cincinnati in 2012 and 2013, 2 games with Detroit in 2016, and 5 with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2017. So I think that was a good move on the Browns to re-sign Orson Charles. Excuse me. The Cavs are off today, but are back in action tomorrow night as they will take on the Sacramento Kings at Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. The Kings have had a semi-fair season, and Drew's crew knows anything can happen. And Colin Sexton said the Cavs are building the team of the future, and they're getting better with every game, and we are working on correcting and fixing all of our mistakes, and they are doing just that. And hopefully we can. I think there's a small chance of Larry Drew coming back next year as the Cavs head coach, but we'll have to wait and see. And hopefully we can draft some good players in the NBA draft and make some good moves during the offseason and have a better season next year for the Cavs. And tip-off is at 10 p.m. on Fox Sports Ohio. And now it's time for today's great moments in sports history, and this one is the Hit King, and it's from all the way back from September 11th, 1985, and the location is Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio. And here is the moment. In front of a packed crowd in his home stadium, the Reds' Pete Rose hit a single in the first inning of a game against the San Diego Padres. That hit was his 4,192nd of Rose's career, breaking Ty Cobb's long-standing record for most career hits. Excuse me. Rose's teammates all came out of the dugout to celebrate and congratulate him, and Rose was presented with a new Corvette with the license plate PR 4192. And the impact on this, Rose would finish his career with 4,256 hits, which is still a Major League Baseball record, with no real challenger in sight. The closest active player is Alex Rodriguez, who currently has 3,070 hits and is 39 years old. I have another great moment in sports history on my next broadcast, so stay tuned for that. Now, it's not too. We are just about 2 weeks away from the round 1 of the NFL draft, and I don't think the Browns are going to make a big splash, but we do have picks in the 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round, because we traded the 1st and 3rd to get wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. And with the Browns have been the most talked about team since the new league year began, and the Browns are viewed as favorites to win the AFC North Division, and they are expected to get 5 primetime games in the 2019 NFL season, this next season, and not only on Thursday Night Football, but on Sunday Night Football as well. And I want to re-mention that poll that was taken by Baskin and Phelps on 92.3 The Fan a few weeks ago. And that poll was, do you want Week 1 Sunday Night Football, Browns versus the Patriots? And a majority of Browns fans and NFL fans say, bring it on. And they feel that would be a great matchup, and so do I. And so we'll have to wait and see if we get that matchup. And because we got some big name players between Beckham and Mayfield, Vernon, and Sheldon Richardson, and Kareem Hunt, and all the Browns. That's why I feel this is going to be a great matchup, and I feel we're going to win a lot of games this season, and the Browns they're going to make the playoffs and really compete in the playoffs this next season. And we'll see what the Browns do in the NFL draft when round 1 begins on April 25th. We do not have a first pick, but we will in the second round. But I will have complete coverage of the entire NFL draft from round 1 through round 7, leading up to pick 255, Mr. Irrelevant. And I will be on location for round 1 of the NFL draft, and I will be doing a podcast from the Murphy House, the home of my friends Matt and Katie Murphy and their 2 sons, Gavin and Noah. And my special guest joining me for that podcast for round 1 of the NFL draft of that edition of Scott Sports 101 will be none other than my really good friend, who's also one of my best friends, Matt Murphy. And we'll break down round 1. We'll see who all the NFL teams will take, and we'll predict who we think the Browns are going to take in rounds 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we'll talk about the NFL, break it down, and we'll make our predictions to see who the Browns will take. And I will have complete coverage of rounds 2 and 3, which will be 2, 3, and 4, which will be on Friday night, and then complete coverage of rounds 5, 6, and 7, which will be on Saturday, and that will lead up to picks 255, Mystery Irrelevant. And then on Sunday, April 28th, I will have I think it was, I said April 28th, didn't I? And on April 28th, I will have a complete recap of the entire NFL draft, and my guest joining me for that recap podcast will be my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle, and his cousin, Aaron Hoyle. So I am looking forward to this. Tune in for all the draft edition, NFL draft edition of 2019, right here on Scott Sports 101, and also watch the NFL draft coverage on ESPN and ESPN2. We'll get to the Tribe and Major League Baseball in just a moment, but first, it is now time for the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. Who was the first player ever drafted by the Carolina Panthers? And if you said their former quarterback, Kerry Collins, you are correct. Penn State quarterback Kerry Collins was drafted by the Carolina Panthers with the 5th overall pick of the 1995 NFL Draft, the first choice in the franchise's history. I will have another trivia question on my next broadcast, so stay tuned for that. Well, it was not a good day for the Tribe as they lost to the Chicago White Sox 8-3 this afternoon at Progressive Field. So the Tribe and White Sox split the series. Corey Kluber was on the mound for the Tribe today, and he had a record of 0-1, and Carlos Rodon was on the mound for the White Sox. Kluber went 3 in 1 innings, giving up 8 hits, 4 earned runs, and struck out 4. The White Sox had a 3-1 lead in the first, a 3-0 lead in the first, I should say, but Carlos Santana put the Tribe on the board in the first, but the Tribe was down 3-1 to the White Sox. The White Sox tacked on one more run in the second inning and were up 4-1 on the Tribe. It stayed 4-1 until the fourth, and then the White Sox scored 2 more runs and were up 6-1 on the Tribe, and that's when Terry Francona took Gluber out of the game and went to his bullpen. And Gluber, those runs he gave up really cost the Tribe the game today. And the bullpen took over, and the White Sox and they get the and it would stay it would be 6-1 until the eighth, and the Tribe bullpen gave up 2 runs in the eighth, and the White Sox had gone up, had an 8-1 lead, but in the ninth, Carlos Santana hit a single to right, and Hanley Ramirez hit a 2-run homer on a line drive to center field, but that was as close as the Tribe would get as the White Sox win this one by the final score of 8-3. The Tribe falls to 2-3. The White Sox go to 2-3. So both teams have a record of 2-3. Corey Gluber was not able to get his first win of the season, falls to 0-2, but Carlos Rodon gets his first win of the season. Elsewhere in the American League, the Rockies in an interleague ball matchup beat the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in Tampa today by the final score of 1-0. The Minnesota Twins beat the Kansas City Royals in a nail-biter in Minneapolis today, 7-6. The Toronto Blue Jays, who the Tribe will face beginning tomorrow, are up 3-0 in the bottom of the eighth. The Detroit Tigers are up 2-1 in the middle of the ninth on the New York Yankees. The Astros and the Rangers will get underway at 8:05. And the Red Sox and the Athletics will get underway at 10:07 p.m. out on the West Coast in Anaheim, California. Turning now to the National League scoreboard. The Milwaukee Brewers beat the Cincinnati Reds 1-0 in Cincinnati today. And the Washington Nationals beat the only undefeated team in Major League Baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies, 9-8, ending the Phillies' undefeated record and handing them their first loss of the season. And it was tied until the ninth, and it was a walk-off run that won the game for the Nationals. And boy, what a game that was. The San Diego Padres are up in the Arizona Diamondbacks 4-1, top of the ninth inning. The Mets and Marlins, Mets are up 1-0 in the bottom of the second. The Cardinals and the Pirates will get underway at 7:05. The Cubs and the Braves will get underway at 7:20, and that'll be in Atlanta. And the Giants and the Dodgers will get underway on the West Coast in Los Angeles at 10:10 p.m. this evening. Well, as I just mentioned, the Tribe will begin a 4-game set as the Toronto Blue Jays come to town tomorrow at Progressive Field. Trevor Bauer on the mound for the Tribe, and on the mound for the Tribe will go for his first win of the season. And Aaron Sanchez on the Bauer will go for his first win of the season. And Aaron Sanchez on the mound for the Blue Jays with a record of 1-0. First pitch at 6:10 on Sports Time Ohio, and hopefully the Tribe can bounce back from today's 8-3 loss to the White Sox. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for this edition of Scott Sports 101. I'll be back with another podcast, most likely on tomorrow. Probably on, I think, Friday, as a matter of fact. I'll do one Friday. So until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1, I'm done.